done. At that point, who am I? Let's just go take some drugs. But when I look back now, that was my rock bottom.
And that's because cocaine was stealing.
I was the first to sign a professional forms at the age of 16.
The power of sharing, Marcus.
My goodness. Sharing is communication. Communication is the source to the soul. The soul is yourself. The soul makes you walk and be strong.
Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Prince Show, where we go on a journey with a special guest. And this week's special guest is none other than the legendary Marcus Bent. Marcus Nathan Bent. How you doing, Marcus?
I mean, you just went to the Nathan bit and then to the Bent bit. Everyone just calls me MB. So let's just go with MB.
Bless, brother.
Let's just go with MB.
Let's go with MB.
But what I will say before we carry on, I had a conversation with Prince before I've got here. And he thought I was the plumber. All right, so we just need to get this out of the way. He thought I was the plumber coming round. He didn't know who I was. No, I'm going there. I'm going there. So we're going to just get this out of the way. He thought I was the plumber coming round. I can be a plumber and I can do a couple of stuff. But anyway, the more important stuff is that I'm here with Prince and we're going to talk about a lot of topics. And a lot of my ins and outs of life, being a professional footballer, and I can't wait to get into the questions that you have for me.
Oh, brother, lovely. It's an honour to have you here, man, really is. Even just when you came in, just the energy between us just kind of kicked off straight away.
We spoke about that,
Do you know what I mean? But that was funny, bro. You mentioned in the phone call, you know, to keep it real with everyone, just imagine we've talked for about, what, 5-10 minutes?
Basically.
And I'm in my head, when I said, oh, is this Ben? You probably thought I said Bent, and the plumber's name is Ben. And then I'm carrying on this conversation like, so when you coming round then, when you come, what are you talking about, to do the plumbing? My man's like, bro, I ain't the plumber, man. That was too funny, King. Listen, bro, you stood out for me as an individual to come on because your journey is too interesting. We got so many young people that want to be ballers. They're excited about playing football, but they don't really understand the realities of football. And I think that it's really important to have guests on like yourself that could come and break it down and keep it real, because in your head, your journey probably wasn't going to go anything like it actually went in reality. Am I right?
No, you're wrong.
I'm wrong. Did you plan to be what they call a journeyman in football?
Carry on what you're saying.
Okay, cool. Because I looked at it like most footballers, and you correct me because I'm a professional fighter, you want to be settled as a professional in your career. You probably have ideals about a team that you want to play with. You probably got ideals about how many, goals and appearances you want to be in the first team. So your mind is set. And then you start this journey. And that's why we want to go into the journey, because how did your journey go? Because I see a player that's played for 16, 17 teams, that's been in 8 of top Premiership teams. Out of the 16 and 17 teams, you've had like 600 first team appearances. You got a great goal scoring record. You probably would have had more based on how many appearances you had. There would have been a lot more goals. So I just want to talk about how that began, how your journey began. And instead of going straight into the football, let's go into just growing up first, because I'm sure everyone would love to know, what were you like as a young man growing up? What were the things you had to face, and what kind of molded you into becoming or wanting to become a Premiership player, man?
That's why I said that you're wrong.
Okay.
I knew I was going to be something.
Wow.
I knew I was going to be... I mean, at a young age, I used to do athletics. So I used to run at Linford Christie Stadium.
Nice.
So I'd done 100 metres long jump at school. And then I came home one day and I saw Liverpool, John Barnes, Peter Beardsley, mostly John Barnes.
Okay.
Black footballer, Jamaican. Sunday, BBC, I think it was BBC One, I think it was. My dad said to me, listen, we got to go to Grandma's house to get roast dinner. I said, Dad, I want to watch this. But I saw John Barnes. I strive to be not earning the money. I didn't know the money. At that young age, I was probably the age of 9 at that point. But I saw him and I wanted to be John Barnes. I wanted to be something different. So I went out on the playground on the estate. We used to play football. Then I went into five-a-side football and into my secondary school. I got picked for county, the school team, etc., etc. But I've gone a long way before I'm talking about my upbringing.
That's it.
My parents, my dad comes from Jamaica. My mum is Jamaican but was born in England. I'm the eldest.
Out of how many?
Out of 6 twins and a younger brother, and then my youngest, who was Nia. So we're always 3 years apart from each other.
Okay.
So I've always been the eldest, and I'm not saying that I was the person that would bring the money in, but I wanted my parents to have a different lifestyle, and along with myself. I used to take my siblings to school in Shepherd's Bush when I was the age of 6, walking back and forth. Nowadays, you can't do that. You know, there's things involved, and
things
you
have
can't
changed.
do that stuff nowadays. I think it was a little bit more simple in those days, but you had to step up at an early age. We then moved from Shepherd's Bush.
That's quite a big responsibility, isn't it?
Huge. But I had to take that responsibility on side, and it wasn't that I was old enough or mature enough. You was installed with that at that young age. You had to grow up quicker.
That's right. I'm saying that because that's definitely played a part somewhere.
Sure.
In your development as a young man.
Definitely. So at that point, I went to secondary school after what I've spoke about, you know, taking the siblings and going home, and my mum having the twin buggies and her going up the stairs and me having to stay down and screaming and wanting sweets and etc., etc. My mum is a beautiful person. My dad went to work 24/7 and earned the money.
Beautiful.
So they installed a lot of discipline and loyalty and stuff within me that I try to put on my children and people and kids and the kids that are playing football nowadays, that I try to put within them. It wasn't as easy growing up or as a young adult going into a second division side or a Premiership side, because I was earning a lot of money, and did it go to my head?
Wait, before you get there,
Go on.
what area was you in?
Sorry?
What area was you in?
In a sense, living.
Yeah, living.
Shepherd's Bush.
Shepherd's Bush,
Moved
Grove.
to,
What are the challenges around there?
Oh, Lord. You had to be a man before you was a man. You had to stand up for yourself.
Draw a picture for the people of what you would see in your eyes as a little kid growing up in Ladbroke Grove.
Being honestly, I don't think I can.
Yeah.
To a point, because you had to stand up for yourself on an estate, in a place, in a area code, South London, North London, West London, East London. You had to stand up for yourself, regardless what age you was. And I don't mean to make it about violence or anything like that. Being a black kid growing up in a world where opportunities weren't given to you in that sense, but football was not given to me. It was something that I was naturally gifted with, athleticism. So I was gifted in that sense. So I kind of took it by the throat and took it by the horns and just went with it, and I focused myself. Don't get me wrong, my parents weren't on board straight away.
Yeah, because they weren't really in those times, they weren't really into sports They wanted their outlook was us to be professional.
Go to school.
Yeah. Educated.
Education, etc., etc. But I was so focused on, I knew I had that ability. Whether I was blessed or not, I don't know. To this point, and I don't mean it in a sense where I'm trying to say that I'm some sort of king or queen or whatever you want to call it. But I knew that I had something in my heart, something that I was grinding for, to go forward and make a better life for myself and help my siblings and my family to go forward.
Was that the mindset? Even when you was young, like you thought I could do this and kind of help my family and change the quality of life.
I think Linford Christie said it first time, any black person said it first time, and he's from Jamaica too. He said tunnel vision. So when he starts at the start, he sees tunnel vision, bam, he goes for it. And I saw that and I kind of locked into it. So tunnel vision has always been my way forward, the way I want to go, and my belief in life to succeed in what I want to do and be present.
Beautiful, man. That's really powerful because a lot of young people want to know what's the driving power. How do I get from where I am to that point in life? And a lot of people have wasted life not having that tunnel vision, but they want to achieve and want to have a better quality of life, but they found that difficult.
But you have to have love in what you want to do to become that person to have tunnel vision. If you don't have belief in what you're doing, you need to have belief in what you're doing to then have tunnel vision.
So
do you
that
understand?
that was born out of your love for seeing it.
Right.
So when parents see their children loving something and just passionate about them, don't try and distract them and take them into another scene that you want, because a lot of parents do that, don't they?
Of course they have to, and I have my children, you have your children, you know, people around us have their children. Right. You want them to go down the road that you believe in, that's their strength and their beliefs, and how you will love them even more and protect them in a sense. But when someone has that passion to an extent, where they believe in it, where they have that tunnel vision, where they don't believe in anything else but dedicating themselves to that journey, then back them.
Back them,
support them, help them. And that's how I see it.
Did you see yourself getting support? Did you get help from dad, from mum?
I mean, my dad, support being that they had a roof over my head.
Cool.
They fed me every day.
Yep.
He took me to games, don't get me wrong. He would take me from games if I didn't play. You know, it was a transition of different thoughts. Frustration at times, anger at times, being grounded at times.
So it wasn't a smooth running. You know what? Dad knows my vision. He's got me 100%, and every time I need to get to football, he understands my drive and he's going to get me there. It wasn't like that.
No, he always would get up and take me there.
Okay, great.
But he was very hard-headed, which I am, and I see myself in my dad.
I got you.
And controversial, very outspoken. If I wasn't played, he would see me as being the best player, raw. Coming from a different background to some of the kids
that
I played a bit of a fan in a sense.
Bro.
Yeah. I mean, to this day, my dad's collected programs from every game that I've played in through my professional career, even when I was playing county or school, and he's put it in a plastic box. And
that's a plan.
And as much as we love to hate each other. I know you're clapping over there, and I love that. That's beautiful. My dad doesn't know about phones or texts or anything like that. But what I do appreciate from my dad is he's loyal, he's humble, and he's taught me how to be a man today within my life.
Beautiful, man.
So I can then portray that within my kids or players, or it doesn't have to be football. Let's just squash that.
That's it.
Everyday life, you working in Sainsbury's, working on the street, you lose your job or homeless, you've still got these things going on.
That's right.
And it's being mentally strong enough and having that background behind you to communicate and move forward and make your peace.
So let's look at that journey and how it developed you to get to this point where you can speak like that, where you understand that. Because throughout it, you may not have understood that at the time. So you were developing these skills. Take us through some of the difficulties that you faced through, looking at your goal, and I'm going to be this great footballer. What kind of things was getting in the way? Was it managers? Was it, coaches? Anything was hindering your progress? Tell us about the first team that you got into. What excited you?
Brentford was the first team that I signed for. At that stage was a manager called Dave Webb. He used to play for Chelsea, old school manager. This is in the 80s, where a two-footed challenges didn't get
That's it, red
booked
cards.
for, basically.
And was you cleaning all your boots and stuff like that afterwards?
Yeah, so it's called an apprenticeship at that point.
Wow.
Which you probably know, where you had to kind of sweep the stands, clean the boots, wash the kit, put it out for the players.
Don't let your drink go cold, baby.
Don't worry about that. I like it cold. It's all right. Don't worry about that.
Cool.
Getting on the bus, the 116 from Bedfont, which took about 45 minutes to go in, which is 6 o'clock in the morning, and you wouldn't get home until 7 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, wow.
Which is a job.
That's right.
A 9 to 5 job in a sense. I don't mean to probe on not apprentices, the scholarships now, but they don't do 9 to 5, which is where we're going to get to.
How old was you at this time?
So I was the first to sign up professional forms at the age of 16, which I was quite privileged about.
Yeah, man.
Which a lot of my peers didn't get that.
That's right.
They couldn't afford it, especially in the second division. And the money that there wasn't any Premiership contracts or anything like that. There was Gola, Puma were in there, Nike wasn't in there, Adidas wasn't in there. So it's come on a lot since then. So I worked my way up, hard work. But I think with my journey at the team that I was at, Brentford, at that time, I had a lot of experience, older Gs, pros, who taught me where to put my money into investments or PFA, investment funds, which will help you in your latter stages of your career. I was very outspoken.
Even as a young man?
Oh, massively.
Did that work for you or against you, or did it
I
make
think what
any
I'm trying to
difference?
say is I'm a very outspoken person, and I will not allow anyone to shut me down or tell me what to do if I feel that I'm right inside in my heart. It will take me a minute to understand if I'm coming from an ignorant, arrogant point of view, but
because you're in a sport where, fall in line, you're in there for the team, and it's very trainer, management, we're in control kind of sport.
Sure.
And you do as you're told. And
sure.
So did that create any issues?
Well, I think if we go back to when we were talking about when I was growing up, walking the streets of Shepherd's Bush, I had to be a man. I had to grow up and put my point across and not back down from anyone. So that took me into a professional circumstance, a circle, where people then telling me what to do, how to do it. Did I relate to that straight away? Probably not. I had my point of view. Okay, so I should take the ball this way and then score that goal that way. So my point of view would be, how about if I do it that way?
Okay.
So I wasn't understanding it straight away. These people are, school people that have done it for years and years, and I didn't get it as quickly as I should have done. But I grasped it. I got slapped down. Should I say slapped down? I think I got put down in a sense. They not put down. How do I say it? I got schooled in a sense where I felt that they were teaching me to do it a better way. and how to be a bigger person and a maturer person within the world of my sport, the sport that I love, to go forward.
Brilliant. That was an important lesson for you, wasn't it, Marcus?
Basically.
Because a lot of young men, they feel that because they've got the talent, that's enough.
Right.
And they can get there. But it wasn't, was it?
It wasn't.
There was a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is our attitude.
Right.
And being able to take on something constructive from people that's been in the game with more experience.
And the word is ego.
Beautiful.
And the word is ego. So once you get rid of that ego, your ego could take over everything within your life.
Do you remember when yours was flying like an eagle?
Oh, listen. And I still get it to this day, but because I'm mature enough and wise enough now, I go, you know what, ego, come aside.
Beautiful.
I can, take over from the wife, change the baby's bum.
Excellent.
Let my wife do what she's doing. My ego's not taking over, in a sense. That makes me a wholer person.
Yeah.
A calmer person, and someone that I can help other people and talk to you in this way to go forward.
That's brilliant. How did that affect your game? Did you see your game change and you become a better player?
Well, not at that point. I mean, I stepped up from second division to Crystal Palace, where I worked alongside the people like Bruce Dyer, Tilio Lombardo, Matt Jansen,
Beautiful.
Clinton Morrison now, who's cleaning my boots, Leon McKenzie, who finished football, now he's doing boxing, mental health, he's my boy.
Yeah, of course.
So these people, I can go on.
As well, man.
Who else can I go on about? But Bruce Dyer,
so you went from Brentford to Crystal Palace?
Crystal Palace, so it was a jump into the Premiership.
Okay, that's brilliant, man.
So I think
you gassed?
Oh, listen. I can buy my first. I can buy a big car now.
Oh my gosh! What's that like? Because remember, all the youths, they dream of that moment.
All right, so I'm going to break
talk about that moment.
All right,
man.
so before we go on to this, so my first car was an XR2.
Yeah.
Right?
Boom. Done know it.
Pepper pots. Right. Red. Oh Lord, I got my XR2. Right. So when I went to Crystal Palace now,
Come on.
XR3i convertible.
Come
Stop
on.
it. I'm balling now. Right. Dad ain't got to pay for petrol. But I'm rolling.
Yeah.
Convertible top down. So I put into Crystal Palace now. And Tillo Lombardo, they're driving Range Rovers. I mean, back in them days, Range Rovers are not the same as Bentleys and whatever they are nowadays. All right. So I pull up now. Right, first training session. So we train, done well, etc., etc. They taught me a lot. But I still got my ego. I can't let that down.
Yeah.
So we have lunch, etc. So I get in my XR3i convertible. The car won't start. The alternator. The alternator doesn't happen in a Range Rover or a Mercedes or whatever, blah, blah. The battery's good. So I had to go back up into the changing rooms, up into the eating room and say, listen, can you push me down the hill? So that was the day that I knew that I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready. So Tilio Lombardo, Bruce Dyer, etc., pushed me down the hill. My car started. I drove home, got back to the house, and I was embarrassed. A week later,
Ego
got lit. So I changed my car real quick. Anyway, but. So I at that point I learned that these guys have made their journey and they've done it. They've focused their life on it. They've worked hard to get to where they've got to get the Range Rovers, to get to where they are. And my little self coming in, not my little self, but myself coming in there thinking I'm the big and ego-wise person wasn't the right way to go about it. So I learned a lot from that. But don't get me wrong, within that journey there was ups and downs.
Okay. Who were the players when you were playing the game that you really thought, wow, this playing with him is adding value to my game? Mm-hmm. Like I'm learning a lot. Who were the players that really made
As you said,
impact?
16 teams. I can go through each team and tell you each player within that team that has given me something throughout my career.
Can you remember for Brentford and Crystal Palace?
I'm going to start from
early
Crystal Palace. So
Yeah.
Tilio Lombardo is an Italian legend, bald head. Sorry, he had hair around here with a bald patch on here. He was probably about 21 at that point, but literally looked like an old man. But he would be there. We used to have to train at 10:30, but he'd be there from 8 o'clock doing his weights, his stretches. At the end of training, he'd be finishing and helping youngsters out. At that point, I didn't know. I didn't. It was like getting my car, my new car, going home to my wife. I got my new money, got my Ralph fake shirt. Yeah, and I'm going home and I'm earning my money. But I didn't realise at that point what he was doing, his journey, how he was helping youngsters, even professionals, older professionals, managers to progress and be better in their career. So that was the first.
Yeah, just that work, that mindset. To come in early, put in the work, and actually go and help others as well. That's incredible success mindset to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's something that you obviously pass on to young people when you're around them now.
Sure.
I dare say.
Well, it took a journey. It took me learning. I mean, it wasn't good sailing or amazing from Crystal Palace. I mean, I got under 21s, England under 21s. I got called up for the Jamaican squad to go to the World Cup. I felt my journey was within England. I felt like I could.
Okay.
Because of, you know, me going from Brentford to Crystal Palace, then I'm doing so well. Scored at Anfield, scored some amazing goals. We went down that year, but I was being talked about. So in my head, I'm like, do you know what? My progression, how I'm evolving, maybe I can make the England first team. Okay. So getting the under 21s was a big step. It was called England Toulon. It's a tournament.
Was this one of your aspirations, just quickly, was this one of
to play for England?
Yeah. Or did it come in later as you played, you thought, I could play for England?
I think once I got into professional football, then I knew the steps was England and, you know, progressing in a sense. So doing so well for Crystal Palace, scoring again against Liverpool at Anfield, not against John Barnes, but someone I idolise at the Kop end, an amazing goal, Van Basten goal, by the way, just saying, if you want to get that. Volley, bam, it should have been on Soccer AM, but it wasn't, anyway. Yeah, I'm a bit upset with that. But anyway, got called up for the under 21s. That's a different level. You get picked up in a limousine. You get given a pack.
Serious, bro?
Listen, it's like loyalty. I mean, I hadn't seen that in my life before.
And you're how old?
At that point, so under 20, I was 19 at that point. Okay. So the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Jody Morris, Carragher was the captain, Emil Heskey, who else would I go with?
Great Hemel.
Ooh, M. So I was room with M. So literally I got dropped off at the hotel, which would be the England training ground back in the day. I can't remember the name. Excuse me, I should know the name. Here's your bag, sir. No need to check in. Here's your key, walk upstairs. Put the key in the door. Nervous. Didn't know what anxiety was. Nerves for me were butterflies.
Okay. That you were
anxiety
used to
for me were
games.
butterflies, butterflies. So I didn't know what anxiety was at that point.
I got you.
Right, so my heart's beating. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right.
But you're not sharing it with no one. It's just stuff you're
just me.
from.
Got my bags. You know, they give me a kit. Shit. Excuse my language.
No one else is telling you.
No one else.
I'm shitting myself too. Marcus.
Yeah.
So you think it's just you and Hemel's?
No, I knew I was sharing with someone, but I didn't know who I was sharing with. So click.
But I mean, you think it's just you feeling that? Not other players ain't feeling that.
So click clack, you know, the door goes click clack, bam, open the door. I see this big ass black guy sitting on the bed. I'm like, who's this? So I walk in, he turns round. He said, my name's Emil. He said, you're Marcus Bent. It's nice to meet you. I'm like, this is Emil Heskey, Leicester forward that's played for England under 21s, doing amazing for Leicester. At that point, he was being talked about to go to Liverpool. This is Emil Heskey. I'm not starstruck at any point. I've never been. The only person I'm starstruck about is Michael Jackson and who else? I mean, Martin Luther King. You know, I'm not starstruck about anyone. Yeah. I will not bow down to anyone. With my ego, I'm better than you, in a sense.
Got you. Love it. Right. Love the realness.
So anyway, so we got to know each other, and yeah, he's kind of taught me the ropes, how to go, what to do, get up in the morning, etc., etc. It just became the norm. So we went to London on a plane, private plane. Never been on a private plane before. Never been on holiday before.
Did you develop a friendship with him?
Yeah, I know him to this day. He's my good friend to me. Yeah,
nice.
Good friend to me. We're good friends. But again, it's still a long journey to go.
No doubt.
You know? So that journey took me from the under-21s, and I'm going to be quick with this because it's probably better we miss this bit out.
I hear you.
But I'm going to go for it so you understand this bit.
Can I just quickly say something? Do all players behave and function right when it's game time, or did you find that some players were just used to this level and they just done their thing and you were like new to it and it was different for you?
All right, I'm going to flip this back on yourself because I want people to understand it. And if I say that, and even people around the room, which you can't see, it's not just about professional football, a fighter. I've come in this door now, you've got the cameraman there. So his vision or his journey will be, have I got it right?
Yeah.
Am I doing this right? What's going on?
That's it.
Is someone going to have a go at me? At the end of the conversation, at the end of the day, he'll look at what he's done and go, he'll question himself, but he'll know what's happened or how it's happened when that's actually been aired.
Okay.
So that'll be like, once you've played the game, then it's on BBC or on Sky.
Okay.
So then you look at it and you go,
Gotcha.
I actually did do well.
Wow.
Or I done rubbish.
Yeah.
Let me acknowledge that and make it right.
I feel you.
And go past that. But that's a mature way of going about it. A younger way of going about it will go, those people that screamed at me, those racists, you're closed. The people that you have around you at that point, are they your true friends? Are they the people that will help you to go to the next point, the next journey, the next transition, get to the next club, move from London to north, to south? Are they always going to be there? You learn that along your journey. Hence why you get wiser. You believe in yourself, whether it be at 34, 28, I'm saying these ages because at 28, that was my pinnacle.
Okay.
That was my pinnacle where I knew my real friends from the people that were just taking off of me. So I've just jumped a generation. But what I'm trying to say, through that generation from Brentford to Crystal Palace, I've had to go from club to 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 get to 28. Now, I'm at Everton, where that was my pinnacle.
I got you.
That was my pinnacle.
Okay, and you've experienced England, you've experienced Emil Heskey and top players, being with around them. Before we get to that next point at Everton, did you get on the England pitch?
Right, so this is where I'm coming from. So we had the likes of, we're going to go Emil Heskey, we're going to go Michael Owen, we're going to go Ian Wright, we're going to go Les Ferdinand, we're going to go Alan Shearer, we're going to go, who else will we say? Fowler.
Legendary
Sheringham. So that's even like 7 top-class strikers that a young player has got to get past.
Wow.
As much as I had my own drive or
passion for the game. And
getting past Ian Wright, legend, Fowler, Owen.
wow.
I mean, it was hard work. It was hard work. It was hard work. I got called out, and even tall Crouch got called into the B team. So there was a B team which I got called up to go to New York to play an England B team side, and Crouch got done really well. That's hence why he got into the first team. I didn't go because I was injured. Hindsight, if I'd gone, would I have done well? If I'd done well, would I have got into it? Who knows? Yeah. But these are the things.
Okay, that you play back in your head. Did it leave bitter feelings at the time?
Of course. I mean, my main objective wasn't to get into the England team. My main objective was to do well for the team that I was playing with, Everton, who I'm still passionate about. I mean, it went brutally wrong, and I'm not going to name names or managers or, I mean, people, if they're watching this, will know the manager at the time. What I will say is, and I'm going to tell the truth, I came in for Wayne Rooney when he went to Man United, and what I will say, before I go forward, I'm not asking for people to sympathise with me or feel sorry for me. I'm not that person. What I am saying is I'm saying the truth, and the truth is that I deserved, at that point in my career, a chance to play for the club that I loved and fought for the year and a half that I was there. And that
was Everton.
Everton. And we became fourth that year. The previous year, when I wasn't there, when Wayne was there, we nearly got relegated.
Wow.
So I'm not saying that it was me personally that helped Everton to be more established within the Premiership, because they're in a massive...
We know it's a team effort.
But
let's keep it real. You played your part in the team effort.
Yeah. So when we came off of pre-season, every player within that squad, whether they played or not, and I played every game that season. And it seems like I'm being a little bit angry, and I am angry. And do you know what? I'm going to be real with you. I am angry about it, and I've not put it out there before. I am angry. I am upset about the way it went. We played one up front that season, alongside the likes of Kevin Kilbane, Duncan Ferguson, Carsley, Duncan Ferguson, who else would I say? Tim Cahill, Leon Osman.
I remember these players.
Yeah, these players up and coming, and some of them are...
It was a good Everton side, man.
A great Everton side. At that point, we were just grafters. We were trying to do the best we can with what we had. And I came into a team that were absolutely 100% on my side, and we were a team. I know it's controversial and rubbish. There's no I in team. There wasn't. You do well, we all do well. So we done well. But anyway, we go away for the summer, all licking our wounds and calling each other. We'd all go out with each other. We were a team, a family. So I come in, first training session for pre-season, and I think it was Duncan Ferguson. He said,
is this when everyone's supposed to have their contracts?
Well, no. I mean, you're not supposed to have your contract given to you.
This is the decision-making time.
Yeah, of course. You know, so I come in, and every player within that squad got given a contract, a new contract, whether they played or not. I mean, I played every game that season, worked hard. I was the only player that didn't get given a contract.
Well, let's talk about that.
You can see the frustration and the anger, and this is the first time I've actually said it on camera.
Like.
Do you know what? Let me just breathe, because if I don't breathe, then,
please do, man, because you've put wholly put work in. You've worked 100%, and the least that you feel that you deserve is that the team and the management and everybody appreciates that and gives you the same acknowledgement that they gave to the other players that they also appreciated.
Not the team. You just said the team, but I understand what you're saying. Not the team, because the team, my boys, my team, my family, as it were, they knew the work that I put in.
That's right.
We all put that work in. I think it was more so coming back and speaking to the manager at that time, knowing what he is giving out to those players and not me. Am I angry with him? No. Am I frustrated with him? Yes. Did I go in and tell him 3 times that I didn't respect him and I wanted to move? 3 times, yes. For him to let me...
After they made that decision that they're not...
Well, I went up and spoke to the manager at that time, and I said to him, I've heard that everyone's got a contract. He said, we're going to review it in 6 months. Nah.
You wanted to get that respect that Marcus Bent deserves based on the hard work that you've done. And if you're not going to give me that, bro, then let's just keep it moving.
No, I don't respect you in that sense. So yeah, yeah, and I trained hard again because of my teammates, because of the club that I loved. So the season went on, 2-3 months into the season.
And you're not playing first team?
I was, but in and out, and then they brought another player in who was a great friend of mine, James Beattie, who came from Southampton, who was playing England at the time.
Cool.
Great striker.
Great striker.
Great striker.
Absolutely.
A good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. And
nice.
It wasn't about him coming in. There wasn't any anger or anything towards him. You know, he's been brought in to do a job, in a sense. But he got brought in to do a job that I was doing. That at that time, I was the only person that could play that role at Everton, one up front. He found it hard. The fans got on his back. The manager didn't quite take to him. Had to play him because of the price tag. I think it was 7 million at that point. So I'm not going to say I felt sorry for him, because he'd probably slap me in my face if I said I felt sorry for him. But I felt for him because I know how the Everton fans are. Don't get me wrong, they are hard on you, but as long as you're giving everything that you've got, they will back you. He found it quite hard. He was a goal scorer. He was a 2 up front striker, dead ball striker. He could score goals, penalties, etc., etc. But it didn't come as quick as the manager at the time wanted, and as quick as he wanted. So after that, I literally said, do you know what? I had spoke to my agent, so he was in the training ground. So I had to go up and down from the manager's office, back and forth to my car. So I went up first time, I said, I called him gaffer or boss. I want to move. I'm not playing. No, we're not going to sell you. Okay. Walked out of the office, went down to my car, spoke to my agent. He said, what did you say? I said, I want to move, I'm not playing. He said, well, he's not going to let you go unless you actually tell him how you feel. And I'm not going to use the word be aggressive, but be passionate about
how you really felt.
How I really
Marcus.
felt. Okay, so got out of the car, really nervous. Again, butterflies. Didn't know what anxiety was. Walked up the stairs. You're talking to a manager that's doing it in the game. I'm still young at that point, and, you know.
How old are you at this point?
27.
Okay.
27. And don't get me wrong, I can talk my mind and I can stand up and look you in the eye.
Of
My
course.
dad taught me to shake a man by his hand and look you in the eye. And if that's not enough, then that's all you've done. If you don't answer, you don't get. Right, so I walk up the stairs. Marcus, come in. You know, with that Marcus coming, that sigh. All right, so that killed me in a sense. So I sat down, I said, listen, I just come up. I want to put it in a different way. I'm not being played. You're not giving me a new contract. I want to go. We can't sell you, I'm not selling you.
I don't get that.
All right. All right, okay, all right. So I walk back downstairs, get in my car for the second time. Neil, he's still not let. What did you say? Okay, I said I want to go. Go upstairs and tell him you don't respect him, you don't want to be there, you want to go. Really? Yeah.
More anxiety.
Right, chest. Right, okay, walk up the stairs. So I went in the office and I said, boss, I don't respect you. I don't want to be here. You've not given me a contract. Charlton are in. I want to go back to London. My wife's pregnant. I want to go. Okay, son, I'll let you go. Really? What have I said that's different?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. Right, so, all right, I'll let you go. So that weekend we were going down to Portsmouth. I went and spoke to Charlton in the midweek, didn't sign for him at that point, but it was on the cards. Played the game for Everton at Portsmouth, said bye to the fans.
What was that experience like?
Oh, massive.
The fans the fans appreciated you.
They didn't know that I was going at that point, but there's a picture where I've taken my top off and I've thrown it into the crowd. Everton fans are my family, and I mean that like literally.
Yeah.
Like if there's an Everton fan out there, I'd take them back up to Liverpool. They are my family.
Yeah.
Literally.
Wow.
Regardless who they are, gender, they are
Beautiful
my family.
Connection you had with them.
Yeah, I love them to bits. So after that game, we won that game, and I walk in the changing rooms, the boys were giving me cuddles, and they knew I was going. The manager, I'm not going to mention his name, he called me outside. He said, I need to talk to you. I said, okay. So he put his arm on my shoulder. I batted it off. He said, listen, if it doesn't work out, you know your home is back with us. So me personally was like, you could have said that when I came up into your office. Like, you could have given me that love and told me that you actually... But he just said that just to be the dick that he is.
Okay.
I wasn't going back there. Anyway, I joined Charlton. Didn't go as well as I wanted it to. Fell out of love with football.
Talk to me about that, because you've just left a club and you're pissed. Let's just keep it real. You're pissed. That sense and energy is in you.
Sure.
Then you move over into another club. It's almost like moving from a relationship where a girl's give you a bun and she's gone with the next man. And then you go over to the next girl and you're carrying them feelings from the other relationship with this new girl.
Sure.
So how can you perform at the level you need to with that same passion and energy when you haven't moved into it? How much has that affected?
I'll break it down real quick. I'll break it down real quick with you.
Beautiful.
Break it down real quick. I went to Charlton because of the money.
Wow.
I left Everton because I'd become richer, and being around my southern peers, my family. But really and truly, my family was Everton. I've been up north majority of my life.
Okay.
I've probably been up north majority of my life, but more so than I've been down south. From the age where I was born to 20, which is, 20 years. All right, so then you go from 20 years to now, the age I am now. I've been up north more than I have down south. So I can talk northern. I know their kings, their clans, their what they talk about. Yeah. I mean, I remember going up north for the first time, and some woman, when I pulled into the petrol station, called me Duck. All right, Duck.
What's that about?
I said, what are you calling me Duck for? As a southerner,
yeah.
What are you calling me Duck for? No, it's just me calling you mate.
Wow.
Right, so I learned the slang, I learned how to, transition from being a southerner, the shield, the shoulders up, the arrogance and etc., to be actually knocking on my neighbour's door and going, how are you?
Nice.
It softened me. It made me become the person I am.
So it was like a different culture.
Basically, yeah.
Beautiful. Completely different to London culture.
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
And don't get me wrong, Manchester North is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard up there.
Yeah, because
it's hard.
To me, I thought Manchester was a little bit like how London is.
Oh, listen, Moss Side, like you would, like back in the day, Moss Side or whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I remember going to the barber shop first. Andy Cole took me to the barber shop in Moss Side. He said, don't bring the big car, just bring the Mini. Driving the Mini. Just park it there. Don't bring your watches, blah, blah. So I bring my watches and whatever. You mad? I'm from London, fam. Don't worry about Moss Side. Anyway, we go in the barbers. Cats in there with their hoods up.
Yeah,
blah,
still
blah.
don't want that smoke.
Yeah, no, it's not about me wanting that smoke or wanting to like go about that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say that I'm a gangster or I'm hard and you know I'd hurt someone, etc., etc. But I know where I'm coming from and I know where you're coming from. So if you can look each other's eyes, then that's cool. Regardless whether I've got that outside. Now, if you want to come at me, then we can stand up and we can do that. Problem being is that as I went on, not problem being, as I went on, I got to know these cats.
I hear you.
Got to know these cats. So I wouldn't back down. Not that I was backing down and not that I was scared. Listen, I don't even want to go there, but it's more so what you're going to get at is the younger cats need to learn maturity, respect. And if you don't respect, just listen and learn. And then you'll get to where you need to go. We talk about grime music, we talk about rap music, we talk about R&B, we talk about reggae. Back in the day, these people weren't making the money they're making nowadays.
That's right.
Right, nowadays, they're making the money and they're talking about real life, where we all have come from. Real life, real talk. This is what the youngsters need to learn nowadays to go forward and learn how to, not to make money, just to be respectful and respect your adults and go forward and get on with a better life rather than going and grinding and doing the wrong things and teaching your youngsters the wrong way to do it, in a sense.
So you think that mindset is prevalent now
Definitely.
more than ever before?
Of course. With social media, with Twitter, with everything that's going on, it's easy. I mean, to call my girlfriend or you or my boy, I used to go down to the telephone box and put 5p, 10p, 1p in there, dial the number, and you have to write on your hand.
That's right.
Now they've got it all there. And that's not even what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that even when you'd call your mates and say, we're meeting here, your mates, you didn't even know if your mates were turning up. Now it's just it's there. It's on point. It's on tap. It's
How
cool.
do you think? What changed that? What changed that process?
Obviously, evolving, and which is good.
The mindset of a young man where he's going to see a footballer, and he's got his Rolex and whatever, and they want to rob you. Because that's more prevalent now, for those that don't know. There's loads of footballers that have gone through that, gone out clubbing. There's them out there on road that are going to the clubs to take man's things.
Sure. Like I said to you before, when I was growing up, I got my fake Ralph shirt, which was yellow, which cost £15. It wasn't real, but I was striving for that. Did I ever rob anyone? No, I didn't ever rob anyone. Did I think about it? Probably, yeah. The people that I was rolling with. Did I ever steal from shops? Yeah. I robbed from shops. Did I ever smash a car window in and take a stereo out? Yes, I did. This is me being true.
Yeah.
I'm telling you from a true point of view. I did that. Did I make a progress, a transition to be a better person in my life? Yes, I did. Did that take people around me to help me to do that? Of course it did. It means the right people around me, the right people to help me to make that transition.
But you took ownership of taking that lesson on.
Of course.
Because without you, then there is no change.
Of course, yeah.
So with those dynamics, whoever you want to call them, mentors, people in your life, you saw that this is the right way. These men are showing me I'm going to move that direction.
Of course, yeah.
But many of the young people, you're showing them the right way, but they still believe in the dirt. They still believe in the grind. They still believe in
not every
that
man.
lifestyle.
Not every man is going to get the right way out. Not every man is going to communicate and come off the streets.
Yeah.
And they're always going to be within that family with their peers or the people that they're growing up with. And I get that. That's fine. It's not fine, but it is fine as long as you're not going jail and making the wrong decision. Make your money. I get it. Listen, don't go and rob people that don't need to be robbed. All right? Don't put a gun up. Don't bring a gun up because you're going to go jail.
Because how are you going to be robbing people in the same position you're in your end?
Sure.
How that makes sense?
But again, you need people like yourself, OBE, that's putting the right energy out, the right voice out.
Yep.
And again, doing this with me. And again, I will say it how it is because I don't want to lie to you.
That's right.
And if someone wants to come in now and take my watch, I say, take my watch.
Go on.
But I promise you now, when I come out the door, I chase you down, I box you up. Even in my suit.
That's right.
I promise you now.
Yeah.
Because I've come from that background.
Come from that.
I've come from that.
That's in you.
That's in me. But the right way to go about it is to earn it.
That's right.
To earn it, look after it. And then go home to mum and go, Mum, you know what? Let's go. There's your yard.
So it's not the money, it's the process.
There you go.
It's the journey. It's what you learn along the way.
That's right.
Because that's what's created the Marcus Ben that's sitting down right now with me.
You sat with Les Ferdinand. I've looked on your sit and I've done my due diligence, which we spoke about the other day when you called me Ben the plumber. Right. And I'm going to keep bringing I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm going to keep bringing it up. All right. So you had Les on. All right. Les is my man. I love Les to bits.
Awesome.
So he had a contract with Porsche when he was at QPR.
Yeah.
And so I was in Shepherd's Bush. QPR's down the road.
Yeah.
All right. So I used to go and watch him, and he'd come out. Never spoke to him, but have his Porsches and this, that, and the other. How do you think Les got his Porsches? Hard work, grind. Why is he CEO at QPR right now? From his hard work, Newcastle, England, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But Les, and I'm not going to talk about Les, I will say what I think Les probably done with his background. Andy Impey, Les Ferdinand, they probably done their wrongs back in the day.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Now, look where he is now. Hard work, passion, confidence. And don't get me wrong, I know that Les has been down, but Les has a helicopter which he flies from London to Manchester.
I know, man. Go on, Les. And that's a great example for the youths to see the journey. You know, regardless.
Don't look down on him because he's got a helicopter. Strive towards it.
Thank you, my brother. Because look, he ain't come from that lifestyle. He hasn't come from where he's grown up, getting into a helicopter, going out of his mum and dad.
That's it.
He's come from the ends.
That's it.
And he's showing, man, this is how we roll.
You know when you say get out of bed, what do you do after you get out of bed?
What gets you out of bed?
Okay, so once you get out of bed, what do you do?
Exactly what you've got planned.
You make your bed.
I hear you, like,
do you understand?
Practically bit
so
by
it's
bit.
Step by step.
That's correct.
It's one step at a time.
That's
so,
correct.
as you've just said, get out of bed and get it. And
that's it.
Man, blah, blah.
Yeah.
When you've got mental health or you've got anxiety or etc.,
beautiful.
Making your bed, you look at your bed, you go, I've achieved something today.
Brilliant.
All right. It might be small, it might be stupid, because everyone should make their bed. But when you're in that and when you're amongst that, it's like, leave the bed, leave my clothes on the side, leave my shoes down there, and I do it when I come back. Nah, do it. Do the washing up. But it's step by step by step. And so rather than going, get up and achieve, and because they're looking at you, which you have achieved, OBE, so they're looking at you going, well, how did you achieve that? But you've done that by step, by step, by step. Make your bed. Then go make some calls. Then maybe talk to the people that you ignored the night before, who you don't want to talk about or don't want to talk to because you've got that anger, not anger, but frustration. Oh, they don't want to be around me because I've given them something and they don't want to help me and this, that and the other. So rather than go out and achieve.
Love the how. I told you what. Marcus Bent told you how. Step by step by step. Little goals, little achievements. That's how you get there.
Bam, bam. That's what. There you go. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're gonna get into the mental health side of things.
Let's go.
Because people need to understand this process. Marcus, we've been having an absolutely enthralling time since you've been here, and you've been so real. I love just the whole truth mindset that I think everybody needs to come to a place in their life where they start being truthful with themselves first. Because how can you talk about being real and being truthful outside of you when you're lying to yourself? And many of us are living this journey. We're lying to ourselves, not being honest about who we are, our mistakes, the changes we need to make. And we're living a fake life, you know, and some of us can cover it up with suits, Rolex, cars, and all them kind of things, but in reality, the problems are still going on inside of us.
Sure.
So I want you to share with us your journey in dealing with some of these inner demons that prevent you from being the best version of yourself, the mental health stuff that goes on. And as a man that's brought up to man up and you know, man them on the road watching this is gonna think, I need to man up, I'm not moist, and all of that attitude makes them behave the way they behave and allows a door to be opened for anxiety and mental health to come in.
Sure.
Because they own this mindset of I'm not moist, I'm a big man thing, innit? So just share with them your journey about some of your anxiety and mental health you went through. Where did it start? How did you deal with it? How did it affect you?
I mean, Prince, again, like we spoke about, I didn't know what anxiety was back in the day.
Yeah.
From a young age, I didn't know what that was. It was just get up, grind, and from the background I've been accustomed to, it was just fight for whatever you have, in a sense. You know, we didn't have 4-course dinner or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you know, it was kind of, you know, tin tuna in the cupboard, which is probably 4 months old, beans on toast, crisps. I remember my and this is, I'm just going to tell you, but my favourite sandwich was a banana sandwich with Chinese crisps, sorry, no, cheese and onion crisps on top, and bam, eat that. I was good with it.
Yeah.
But I strived to be better. I strived, not even to be better, but I strived that I wanted more. I strived because I wanted, I didn't want to live on a council estate where you could only have the playground downstairs and then carnival down the road and then not go too far. And then, I mean, not even go on holiday. But then I ventured out. I got to see the bigger world. I think the first holiday that I went on was to France, which my mum and dad took me on. I think I was 13. We went on the boat. We didn't go on a plane, we went on the boat. We went on the boat over to France. That was amazing. I saw beach, I saw sand, I saw a different culture speaking different languages, white people. Whether they were looking at us as in a different way. My dad had dreadlocks at that point. Okay. I think what I'm trying to say is that as you evolve, as you grow up, as you get older, you want more for your life. You want a better life, and that's what I was striving for. I was learning as I was going on. My journey was taking me to other places. I was strong-minded. My mental health, it was strong. I was.
And you didn't want to show any weakness.
Yeah,
you were
there
a
was
strong-minded guy.
I wouldn't even say there was any weakness there. I can't really say at this point that there was any weakness there. It was more later on in my life that I found weakness when I became an adult, when I had to communicate with adults, professional people that didn't understand where I came from or what my views or what my points were going towards. So there would always be this clash. And that would come across. I mean, people used to say to me, why don't you smile? I mean, I could sit here right now. If you want me to smile, I'll smile. It's a fake smile. If you want me to laugh and have banter with you, there will be a genuine smile there because we're doing something that we're passionate about.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
As your smile right now, and that's a nice smile.
That's right, lovely, thank you.
But people will say to me, why don't you smile? I might be happy inside, but people see this like cold face that they think is gonna do some harm towards them. I'm gonna try not to go into the black face or where it intimidates people, but I think that has been on the agenda for a long, long while. Hence why Americans and hence why the police and everything's going on.
But this is interesting. I'm listening to you talking about basically people's perception of you.
Perception.
And how they feel that the energy you're letting off. But do you think there is any credence in that where maybe how you was actually feeling inside about quite a few things, especially the arena and the sport arena you was in and the field that you were in? It was to a certain extent, you could see it as kind of squeezing a bit of your talent, gifts, and the way that you wanted to aspire to be. It was kind of squeezing a little bit out of you, so that might take some of the joy from inside that might show up. Because it may not be so much smiling, it's the energy that's inside that comes out.
Sure.
It doesn't have to come out in a smile.
Sure.
You know, it just comes out. Our energy goes before us. Our aura goes before us. It's all around us. And it affects people when they come in the room. When you came in the room, your energy affected me. That's why I got up and we immediately connected and began speaking on the level that we spoke at.
Sure.
That's not the norm, but it was our norm.
Sure.
Because that's the energy I picked up from you.
But that's like-minded people. But that's like-minded people.
Okay.
So when people are not like-minded, they can't understand it. So, so mental health has only come to the border or to people's like-minded thinking knowledge over the last, let's say 6, 7 years?
Yeah, exactly.
6, 7 years.
Yeah.
I've always said people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. All right. So I pray for them people. Because I know that they're doing things at home that they shouldn't be. But what they're doing is they're judging. Anyway, let's leave them people aside. What I'm trying to say, grassroots, growing up, being passionate about what I wanted to do, what you wanted to do, or what anyone wanted to do around this room, you were passionate about it. You wanted to involve yourself in it and laugh and joke about it. When it gets to a professional level, that's when the pressures, that's when the money comes in, that's when it all comes in. That's when you become an adult. That's when you go like this. It squeezes it out of you. So then, you've got to protect yourself in a sense. That's when the barriers come up.
Okay.
So when the fans, maybe you've had a bad game, maybe the press, maybe the media, maybe the news, you feel like you've had a good game. They say you've had a bad game. You're sitting at home, then the butterflies come. I'm going to say butterflies because at that point I didn't know is anxiety.
I hear you.
You can't sleep. You have to wake up, go training again. So then you suppress that again because you can't have those feelings within your body.
Because now you've got to perform.
Because you've got to perform. So then you've got to be better, 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 you've got to be better.
Mounting pressures.
Right. So if I said to a fan or someone that is asking for an autograph, I'm not feeling good today, how would they perceive that? He's an ignorant, arrogant, angry person. No, it's just my personality that is venting to get it out.
Yeah, under the pressure that's
just
going on, they know nothing about.
Nothing about.
But they haven't taken the time to even ask you, how you feeling?
How are you, Marcus? How do you feel the game went today, Marcus? Etc. etc. But again, it's a fickle world.
And you feel like if people can say, you play fucking shit today, Marcus, and shout that out in your face, why can't you express yourself?
Right.
That's the feeling that you have. And I this is really important because I don't think people really understand what it's like. They just see a guy kicking a ball in their colours,
sure,
and they box you in, and it's almost like you're not a person. You're not a person that could be in their family.
Sure.
You're not a person that could be their brother or their sister or whoever the person is. You're just somebody that they can throw insults at, have their opinion, and you're not, your opinion, your feelings aren't to be considered.
Well, on that point, I think they see you as a superhero, so they idolise you in a sense. So when they idolise you and they're paying their money to come and watch you,
they feel they've got a right.
They feel they've got a right, and they expect a certain level of performance.
But what's the reality, Bo Marcus?
The reality is that you're human. The reality is that you might have been up at 6 o'clock in the morning with your youngborn baby, and you might have not slept that night, or you might have had a car crash on the way, or I don't know.
The manager could have said something to you to totally...
There you go, small things. And again, I think it's just about people realising that we're all human, and no one's above each other. Just respect each other and try and communicate with each other and respect what each other's doing, the hard work that we've put into it, what we're trying to do for each other and what we're trying to do for you. I think being at Everton, and I keep going back to Everton.
Of course, it's a painful time.
It's a painful time,
taste.
But the painful time is the borderline about it, or the bigger picture about it, is that I had a fantastic time there.
Exactly. So
I can look at that.
Why don't we change the story then?
Right. And this is why I'm here, and this is why I'm trying to talk about the things to go forward, so the kids, so the humans, so the adults, so the small-minded people, so the people that aren't going through depression, anxiety, can see that I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Can you reframe the story that makes you feel better whenever you think about Everton, the manager, how you was dealt with? Would you take that on and say, I'm going to try that because I don't want to continue on my journey with that feeling? Like, on one side, I just love the fans, loved my experience here. On another side, there's a bitter taste. Is it possible that you could reframe the story and make all of that experience and turn it into something that's a positive to you, where there's no bitterness and the story's changed? Like, you've done what you've done, but you may have done that and it's allowed me to go on to life and become who I am today because of that experience. Maybe if the story gets reframed, it starts bringing in a different emotion, then that emotion brings a different outcome. Do you think that's something that's possible, Marcus? I
have two people on my shoulders. One's a good one, one's a bad one. The bad one overcomes the good one a lot of time. All right, so I speak, and if you don't know where I'm coming from, just listen. The good one will tell me, my wife, my kids, my family, life, not drinking, not taking drugs, etc., is the best way to go. And then you have the bad one going, well, F that. Let's do it. No one will know. We'll lie about it. It's cool. Is that the right way to go? No. So it's always a constant battle. So there's always a level of thinking and a level of talking to you, talking to like-minded people, not even like-minded people, but communicating and getting your voice out there rather than suppressing it. And we're going to talk about mental health and my drug issues and my drink issues. My drug issues were suppressing my thoughts. So I'd take drugs to forget about the things that the bad person's telling me to do. So that would go. But in the morning, I'd wake up and then bad thoughts would still be there. So why am I still doing this? So then God, the higher power, communicating, would come across and help me to be the better person, the father that I want to be.
When did you first experience that? And I know at the time you didn't know that you were doing it to suppress the bad feelings. So how did that come in? Because I still remember my entry into the drugs world, and I had issues with my dad being beaten. Like, I know our generation got beaten a lot. I was 1969, you're 78.
Yeah.
You know, it's still around the same.
Sure.
We got beaten a lot. I got it. I don't know how your dad seemed pretty cool with you, but a stern, straight guy. Knew
Listen,
what time it was.
I got beat.
Yeah. So
I got beat on a flip.
Okay. So I understand the impact that has. I didn't realize when I first started taking drugs, I was blocking that out. All the stuff that hurt me, I was taking drugs, and because it made me feel like I was having fun and just having an awesome time, and it was just, life was fun. But I was really ruining my body in reality and not realizing it. Could have robbed myself of a great boxing career if I hadn't stopped at the time. That's correct. So, you know, what got you into taking drugs? Because for me, it was I was just sitting down with some friends. I'd run away from home at 15. Now I was allowed out with brethrens. Now I saw what my brethrens was really up to. And it weren't just bucking them up at school. Here's what they were doing outside of school. And some big brother, you know, my brethren Robert Spencer, he was just macca, big wedge. Looked like Desperate Dan when I was in school, like 6 foot whatever, and we're only at school in grade 2 and 3, which was like 13, 14 at the time. And then he had a guy in my year that was his friend, and they was there at the yard, Andrew Eaton, Robert Spencer. He was like, yeah, roll up, you smoke, whatever. And they taught me how to build up a spliff and burn. Right. And that was my entry in, but obviously went on to Class A and acid tabs and E's, because then that craze came in and it took over. So what kind of got you into taking it?
Okay, so your journey comes from an early stage. I didn't have that journey from an early stage.
You.
Don't get me wrong, my dad smoked weed, my family, I'm not going to say black people or Jamaicans smoke weed, because not everyone does.
That's correct.
But I was around it. I think within my teens, I tried it. I mean, I probably had 2 puffs on it and I went to sleep for frickin' 24/7. It wasn't my thing. I didn't know how to roll, etc. Drugs weren't my thing. Right. Smoking wasn't my thing, like cigarettes. It got to a point where I think 16, 17, I found alcohol. I think at that point it was a given, being the football lifestyle that a lot of players went through, and Tony Adams won't have a go at me for mentioning this. You know, it was that era. We all went out after training, drinking. It wasn't so much drugs. Drugs weren't in it. It was a drinking scene. I mean, Brentford, where I started, it was famous to having a pub on each corner. So what we'd do is we'd finish training, and again, I was 17, and we'd shower up, train, and go and have a drink.
Culture, once again.
Culture, there you go. And it was the norm. I didn't see myself as an alcoholic, it was just drinking. And it went through from the age of 17 till whatever age. So I didn't see it as a problem. You know, you go out, I mean, you know it, probably the people around the room know it. You go out from 12 o'clock, have a whole day of drinking. You go to Marbella, you go on holiday, you drink. It wasn't a problem. Then it got to the point where, and I wouldn't drink when I was training or playing football at the wrong times. Okay. I didn't ever have drink in my house. Okay. Then it got to the point where I retired. I fell out of love with football. I fell out of love with my passion. I was injured most of the time. I'd see the coach going away to away journey games. I wanted to be on a coach. That's right. Sat at home on a Saturday evening. My family would be in London. I'd be there. I had to go in on Sunday to get treatment. It was boring. I was by myself. I was lonely. So I'd have a drink, or maybe go and meet a few friends in the evening. And it got to the point where I thought, do you know what? I'm done with this. I'm retiring. I'm going to get all the money that I've got. I'm just going to go on holiday. Just go on holiday. Have a nice time. But that became the norm in a sense, but it became, how many holidays do you want to go in a year? It was like, really? How many beaches? How many blue sands? How many drinks do you want? So that just became enough. So I came back anyway. Didn't miss football, wasn't passionate about it, didn't watch football. I've only just started watching football again. Only just started watching football again. So then I think I was with a group of friends who are not my friends anymore, and they were taking cocaine. Let's just put it out there, cocaine. So I thought, you know what, let me try it. I'm not playing football. Let me see what the buzz is. Let me see what these people are going on about. Took it, didn't do anything for me at all. So I was a little bit,
what's all this hype about?
What's the hype about? So I thought, all right, let me try it next time. Tried it next time. It took all my anxieties away. It took all the suppression from the back of my head away. I was like, yeah, this is the one. So I'd do it probably once a week. Then it was once every other day. Then it was once a day. And then it became twice a day. It got to a point where it was uncontrollable. It just felt good. But then it got to a point where it was making me paranoid. And I'm not a paranoid person. And as you know, growing up where I grew up, I would confront someone or confront a situation head on. I was scared of the dark. I was scared of what was around the corner. I was paranoid. Hence what took me into calling the police that night and being huddled up in a corner with 2 knives. All my lights out in my flat at that point, and 2 knives. Doors closed. So I was sitting in my lounge, and I heard footsteps. It was my paranoia. So I checked, nothing there. So I got my 2 knives, sat in the corner, waiting for whatever was coming. Phone, called the police. I feel like there's people in my house. Can you come as quick as possible? Because I feel like I'm going to do something I shouldn't do.
Have you got drugs in the yard at the time?
Drugs in the yard at the time. I've been taking drugs, yeah. Anyway, eventually they got there. I've been on the phone to them, probably about 2-3 hours later, after me saying like, I feel like there's people in my house. 2-3 hours later. So anyway, I hear a knock on the door. I didn't know whether it was them or the police. Anyway, so I get myself up, check around, do my knives, go to the front door, forgetting I've got the knives in my hand. Answer the door with the knives. The police see me. There's probably about 6 of them lined up. As you would know, put the knives down, put the knives down. I don't even know I've got the knives in my hand. So I literally said, it's not me, go inside. Put the knives down, put the knives down. Tasered me. Bam, one in my neck, one in my shoulder. So they had to put one in my neck, didn't put me down. I was confused. I wasn't trying to go forward or hurt them. So I'm like this. And then they done me again, dropped to the floor, knives go to the floor. So they jump on me now.
How's that taser feel?
Oh, like a bus, I promise you now. You don't want to get tasered. I prefer to be shot, to be honest with you. Not that I've been shot, but oh my Lord.
Because my brethren had a taser and he said, put it on your leg.
Ooh,
and it's almost like it drew my hand into my leg.
So it fixed me stop. The first one fixed me stop.
Oh man.
And then the second one just dropped me.
Because they're pressing it.
Dropped me to the ground.
That is
dropped me to the
painful.
ground. I'm not proud of it. Not proud of it, and I look back and I'm a bit disappointed in myself, but it's my journey, and do you know what?
Your journey, bro.
It's my journey, and people say to me, would you take that back? No, I wouldn't take it back, because that hit me at rock bottom. That got me to the place where I am now.
Wow.
That took me to a place where I can now talk about it.
Do you think that's probably one of your lowest points?
Oh, that was my lowest. I mean, when I got photographed in the flat, my wife's got it now. My hair was long, I was gaunt, skinny. I am quite slim anyway, but like gaunt. But you wouldn't see that within yourself. You don't see that when you look in the mirror.
That's correct.
You don't see that within yourself. But when I look back now, that was my rock bottom.
And that's because cocaine was stealing, taking all the juice out of you, so to speak. was taking the life out of you.
I'd only eat when I would come round, and it would be like a pot noodle or, you know, eggs, scrambled eggs.
Because it takes your appetite, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes your appetite.
You don't want to eat nothing.
You don't want to eat nothing.
Yeah,
you don't want to eat nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you know, they're kneeling on me. I'm still paranoid. I'm still looking around like a lunatic.
Wait, have they asked you any questions?
No.
Because you called them to say there's someone in the yard.
Right.
So you having 2 knives, obviously you're trying to protect yourself because you think someone's in the house.
Sure.
So why would the first thought be
to go and attack the police? Well, I called you to go and attack the police. You meant I was in my house.
Wasn't that one of the issues that you had?
Basically. So we get to that, but basically they put me in the ambulance, took me to hospital because that's the routine. Handcuffed. I was like, guys, really? Like,
You're kidding me, bro.
I'm not here to hurt you. There's no point in me shouting at you. I'm just telling you to get off my back.
Are they listening to you?
Not really. They was on my head, on my back, hands behind my, strapped my legs up. I get it. Listen, hands up, I get it. Because someone that comes out that looks the way I did, with, this is a meat cleaver and a knife this long. If that was a person that was willing to hurt someone or wanted to hurt someone, they would. And don't get me wrong, and I don't mean to say, if I wanted to hurt one of them, I would have done.
Yeah.
Didn't, drop the knives, etc., etc. Anyway, they put me in the ambulance with all my hands bound, etc., etc.
I still don't get it.
And we get to that, and then they took me to the police station, put me in a cell. Do you know what? That was the most comfortable night of my life at that point, because I felt that I was safe, being paranoid, so no one could get me.
Wow.
So I was in the police cell now. First time I've ever been in the police cell.
Wow.
Right, no one can get me. Police outside, locked door, good, sleep. Wake up in the morning now, right. Where's my breakfast? Where's my cup of tea? They're gonna let me go. They didn't come till about 12 o'clock, so I was up at about 6 o'clock. I'm thinking, what the hell? Bing, 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 what's going on? Anyway, they come. We just, police officer, constable, woman, knobhead, said to me, I have to call her knobhead. I have to, I'm sorry. Forgive me, I'm sorry. Said to me, listen, I've got to read you your rights. We're going to charge you with attempted murder. Do you need to call anyone or a solicitor?
What?
So from going from, I feel like I'm safe and then going to go home in a minute, I'm now being charged with attempted murder, where I called them and had knives in my hand. So I'm sat in a police cell now with anxiety, going, what the?
Yeah.
Oh my God, like, shit, anyway. So then we go into a room where they put on a tape where they record the situation or what happened. They went back to the house to try and find whatever they needed to find. I then got my solicitor, he came down, told me to say nothing. Then they dropped it to, murder or, so there was, no, not murder because I didn't murder it, attempted murder to manslaughter, manslaughter. They were trying to hit me with that.
So attempted murder, attempted manslaughter.
Attempted manslaughter. And then, because it was in a private residence and I had the knives, they couldn't charge me with that I was trying to hurt someone. Anyway, I can't remember everything about it, but anyway, it was weeks upon weeks. We went through a load of, it's probably about 6 months. I had to get drug tested each week, make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I was coaching, mentoring kids.
Why did they find out that you had drugs in the house?
The drugs were in my system.
So when they went to hospital, they found
the drugs were in my system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that helped their case.
Basically, yeah, that helped their case. They found 0.1 grams of drugs, which is a pinch.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't even know what that is. I'm not up on that game.
Yeah.
I've not been in that game. I don't know. But they charged me with possession of drugs, which a dealer wouldn't even get charged with that. So they gave me, so when it gets to it, they gave me probably a year. So they gave me community service, a tag for 6 months, and suspended sentence for 2 years.
For what?
For what? for what, basically. I look back and I'm actually glad that it happened.
I actually mean it. For what?
Yeah, for what?
What is the charge?
Yeah, for what? Yeah, what is the charge
for the 0. whatever gram?
There you go. And I didn't try and hurt anyone. I had to pay 2 officers because they were traumatized and scared for their lives. I had to pay them, I think it was £300 each. I don't mean to laugh, and I'm not laughing about it, because if they were scared genuinely, I apologise. But they're there to do a job.
Fear comes from somebody coming at you.
Which I wasn't.
Fear comes from somebody making threats.
Right.
Fear doesn't, for me, come from. I could be feel, you know, like a bit surprised that you call me to the house.
Sure.
And the person at the door's got 2 knives. That could surprise me, so I'll back off and say, what you doing? But then you're gonna respond to what you're doing with the 2 knives, put them down. And you're saying to me that you wasn't holding the knife saying, no, I'm not putting them down. That's not what was happening.
No, of course.
So how the freak can you get somebody done? It's about understanding, isn't it? Isn't it about communicating?
Of course. I think at that point, I think what they've done is on point. They had to do what they had to do. I understand that, because they were in fear with a man that looked like a maniac, that they felt engaged, that their life was in a predicament.
Was you coming at them?
No, I came out the door. I literally opened, so imagine opening a door with a knife in your hand. You've got to kind of click it, and you can't really open it.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you kind of step out. So I stepped out like this, and I stepped out with my hands up. First thing I said was, it's not me. Go inside. I feel like there's someone inside. Not actually knowing what I'm doing.
I hear you.
But one thing I do promise, and I am real about, and I've been real throughout the whole conversation with you and the interview, is that I did not go forward towards them. So I stood there with these 2 big-ass knives. And I think if I was on the other side, I would have felt the same.
Yeah.
Put the knives down, put the knives down. I think maybe I looked at the knives and thought, oh shit, what have I done now? Bam, taser.
Okay, so there wasn't like a real opportunity
for me to actually, it was just real
quick actions.
I wish I could go back and see it. I wish I could go back and see it. Do you know what I mean?
Got you.
I wish, and after that, there was a couple of black males that got tasered, and police had to then wear cameras to actually show why they've actually done it. But at that point, there was a lot of knife crime going around, and I think if I had done that probably a year into it, I probably would have got put away because of the knife situation going on. So I'm actually lucky in that situation. But if I hadn't been tasered, there was actually police gunmen coming in to actually take me down. So I got away with murder, to be honest. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crazy situation.
Anyway, let's focus on your progress and healing.
No, do you know what? I told you.
That's an important part.
Ask me a question, I'll tell you no lies.
Because that's an important part.
And I want to put it out there, and I will not ever tell you no lies. And this is my journey. I've held this back for a number of years now because I want to tell people the real way how it actually happened. So I'm going to write a book soon.
Thank you.
And I'm going to tell the
any
truth.
support you need with book writing, just give me a shout. Anything.
That would be awesome.
But brother, I know you got your team going, but this is my one done. Trinity Mirror, the biggest publishers in Europe.
So I can take this one, yeah?
Done that. No, I want to actually give you a brand new one.
A brand new one?
I'm going to give you a brand new one.
I kind of like it retro and stuff.
I sign, because I don't know if that's signed. I don't know if
and this you on the back?
No, that's my son.
Is that your son?
That's my son, bro.
Right. Better looking than you, then.
Way better looking than me.
Yeah.
We know we're all about the new model, man. We always create the new models. We want our kids to be better than us.
That's it.
I just highlighted it because it's worth highlighting, because people need to understand that because people have got a name, police and people in authority and position could be taking advantage of that. Because for me, and I'm just going to keep it real and be real with you, I couldn't see them doing that to, let's just say, my mate Harry Redknapp. let's say Man United, Alex Ferguson. I couldn't see them tasering him first and not communicating first.
Right.
I couldn't see that. So let's be real about this. Okay, why did Marcus Bent get tasered so quick? Why did he get taken down?
Do you know what? No. I understand your question. I understand where you're going. And I again, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
All right? Okay. What I'm trying to say is that me being in that predicament, regardless whether it's white, black, Chinese, African, whatever it might be, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. All right? So whether they felt like they were under attack or et cetera, I understand. Now from there, I felt like there could have been an understanding, communication into what I was doing at that point and why I'd done it, rather than putting a 2-year suspended sentence,
That's what I'm talking about,
et cetera,
That's my whole point.
Because throughout my life, I've done well. I've helped people,
Thank
and
you.
I've
That's
done
the
the
whole point
right
I'm
things
making,
throughout my
Marcus.
life. I made a mistake and I took drugs. So now I have a tag on the back of my head being someone that's committed a crime. So I have a criminal record.
Thank you.
And I'm not proud of that.
But why would you have a criminal record when you called the feds to come to your house out of fear, even if it was the fact that you're paranoid on drugs? They wasn't under attack. They wasn't under threat.
I mean,
the way you're taking it for me is like...
Sure. I mean, I took a plea bargain. I wish I'd taken it to court.
Straight, bro.
To a jury. But at that point, and again, we're going back to my insecurities, my lack of confidence, my anxiety, taking drugs, I didn't have that confidence to go forward.
What kind of blasted brief you got, bro?
To be fair, he was quite good, but looking back, he wasn't that.
He needs a backhand, bruv. That is some shit briefing.
To be fair, it was scary. And again, what are you laughing for? Two of these boys. Where's the food, fam?
It's coming.
But anyway, yeah.
It's too much, man.
You're bringing it all back on board now. I need a... Where the fan, man?
Bro, this is...
What's wrong with you?
It's killing me,
anyway,
bro.
No, I know.
I'm getting
But
upset
again,
with
let's
this guy.
get back to the script. But what I'm trying to say, again,
cool.
I've made a mistake. Might not be a mistake. Listen, if I had gone down the other road, so I got charged with a fray. A fray is 3 years in jail. I probably would have done a year. I didn't want to do a year. I didn't want to do 6 months.
No, I don't
so
want
I
to do
just
a day.
took the plea bargain. All right. Looking back, hindsight, I probably would have, now being who I am now, the stronger Marcus, who, man up, I probably would have gone down that route. I didn't, but now I can look back and go, do you know what? I don't want anyone to go down the route that I have been down. So I can talk to them, teach them, teach them.
But use what you've gone through.
Use what I might,
to take this
my
on,
fuel.
don't go down this route.
Don't go down that route. And it's not going to work for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for everyone. But if you can take one bit out of my message or one thing out of my career or my life or etc., then there it is.
Bro, there's loads of brothers right now and women that's caught up in the same thing. Started sniffing. How did you used to take your drugs? Sniffing, smoking it?
Sniffing.
Okay, so they started that and it's gone out of control.
Sure.
Taken over their lives. How did you start that process? Was it after you got after the feds and it all blew up, did you start thinking, I've got to take back control of my life?
So when I got arrested, went through court situations, etc. My wife...
Because that's more anxiety and more stress.
Listen, getting put in your suit on, having to go to court, sit in a box. I remember going in the meat wagon, looking out the window, going down the A3 towards Wimbledon, thinking that I'm going to be put in scrubs for a year.
Yeah.
We're picking people up on the way. Yeah, what's going on, bruv? No, I ain't your bruv. I'm in this meat wagon. I'm coming out this thing. Nah, I'm coming out this car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I shared the van with Marcus Bent.
Right, but they didn't know who I was at that point. And I don't care if they did or not. It doesn't even matter about that. What really affected me is that my daughter, who is 17, my princess, my first, having to go to school and reading it in the paper and people...
that paper stuff,
The paper stuff and I wouldn't say she got bullied or pushed upon, because she's quite strong. I brought her up quite strong, but it's not nice knowing or seeing that.
Yeah.
So I've always been upfront with her and talked to her about it from the start. So she understands it, and she's actually a rock in my life.
Wow.
A rock in my life. Only 17, but she's had to grow up fast, and it's bringing a tear to my eyes. She's my baby. But now we're a different partner, a 1-year-old, so I've got to make this journey a good journey, and a journey where I'm inspiring and making the best of my life, and helping others to go forward and conquer and live their dreams.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. That's such a tough journey though, Marcus. There's so much that we haven't really even gone into.
Oh, massively.
So let's go into a bit of it, because I feel like the people need to hear. Remember you said step by step?
Sure.
Yeah. Give them some step by step. How did you deal with, coming off cocaine? What did that feel like? What decisions did you make in your head? Did you decide that, I'm done with this? Do you know what I'm saying? What went on? What was the process? And how about anxiety? How did you start recovering to be able to get help? Did any counsellors get involved? Did you get any help from someone?
So I came out of the court case, and a sporting chance, which is raised and functioned and brought by Arsenal player, I've just said his name, Tony Adams.
Tony.
So he brought it about.
Yeah.
So it's literally a small house in the middle of nowhere on the lands of a hotel. So my wife, my girlfriend, the love of my life, my best friend, and my best friend Carl Hutchins, he was my mentor when we were growing up, pushed me towards it. I wasn't forthgoing with it at the start, because
you fought against it.
Yeah, I think your not ignorance, but your ego. I can do this by myself. I ain't got a problem.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me.
I got you.
All right. So we got to that point. I remember walking into the gates, and there were 4 other kids, 2 from Liverpool, 1 from London. One was a drinking addict, a drug addict, and a betting addict. He'd been in and out. And I can't say their names because it's privacy.
Yep. Cool.
And the 2 others were betting. Walking in there, I was the biggest face, the biggest name, Marcus Bent. Oh, okay, so, all right, I don't have to worry about anything. These people could tell me about what they want to tell me about. I spend 4 weeks here, but get through it and move on. But you know what is the best journey? The best thing I've ever done in my life. These became really good friends of mine. We spoke about things that you'd never speak to about even your family or even my wife. We spent 24/7 together. We rode bikes, we went to the gym, we ate together, we not slept together, but we slept in different bedrooms.
Yeah,
we woke up in the morning, we read to each other, and we do a thing called STEP. So it's from 1 to 10. And it's basically like, in a nutshell, it's about the story of your life and how the things that you've done wrong, how you can put it right, what's your higher power, etc., etc. And you put it down on a piece of paper and you read it out to each other. And throughout them 4 weeks, you grow, you become stronger, you put that weight back on. Now, the problem being is that it's in a cocoon, I felt, and you've got counsellors there that you can go and touch on. And so at the end of them 4 weeks, you've got to go out into the real world and put the tools into progress.
Did you feel ready?
I felt ready with that. I think the ego was still there. I think the ego was still there.
Do you want to stay longer?
Nah, get me out. No, I need my hair cut. I need to, drive my car. I need to. And I had England All-Stars. It was in China. So alongside Emil Heskey, Ian Walker.
So would it be better to structure a plan that continues outside of that environment so you feel like that support's
the plans given to you. The plans, you're given tools to go to meetings. So we got taken to meetings. We got given books, you know, things that we could do, you know, everyday life, getting up, making your bed, going to the gym, rather than hibernating, feeling sorry for yourself. You felt strong. I got bigger. I came out there. You know, my chest was big. My arms, my glutes, my hamstrings. I came back out. The wife was like, "I fancy you again."
Yeah, nice.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I felt $1 million. So anyway, we went. So I came out. I had a tour that I had to go on in China. Like I said, the likes of Emma Heskey, Ian Walker, goalkeeper, McManaman, etc., etc. So it just felt I came out of one thing back into my real world where it was football again. So it's back on the level again.
Okay.
You know, the collars.
So football was out of your life for a bit as well.
Yeah, but then I became confident again. It was bam, it was there.
Yes.
Oh, I'm still loved. Okay, cool. All right. And then they gave us a holiday after that tour on an island. You know, the sponsorships, money, giving you things, etc. So it just became this. So I went home, and not that it stopped, it carried on. But I didn't have that bubble. I didn't have the two friends that I met, and the 3 friends that I met. So slowly and slowly, I went back into. I didn't want to go to meetings. I was bigger than that. I'm Marcus Bent again. Yeah, I'm bigger than that. Don't worry about that. I'm Marcus Bent again. I can deal with this by myself. It's good, right? Yeah. Which is shit, which is crap. Fuck a Marcus Bent.
Yeah, bro.
Fuck a Marcus Bent. Excuse my language, I'm sorry.
Love it.
I am normal. I'm the same man that walks the street that's got an addiction, and I need to deal with it the same way that you are.
Nice.
So it took me probably another 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, to actually get past it. I'm now off drugs for four years now. What creeped in was alcohol.
I know you man just want to clap at that. Big things. Every day's a big day.
Oh, massive. Get your head on a pillow, make sure you go through the day.
Every day's a big day, but 4 years clean, beautiful.
What they did tell me in rehab, that one addiction will take over from another. So that would be drink or betting. Betting's not my game. But I've been drinking since I was the age of 17, which we've touched on. So I didn't see that as a problem. But the problem being is that I was drinking at the wrong times in the day. So it'd be early morning. So it got to a point, and not that I was rolling around being sick or stumbling about or whatever. Blah,
That's why it seems okay.
It seemed okay, but it got to the point where it's like I shouldn't be doing this. So then I had to jump back on the counselling, not the counselling, but going to meetings and making sure that I put the right foot forward, the right steps in place, speaking to the right people, so I can actually not preach, but talk to people that want to hear. Share.
Man. The power of sharing, Marcus.
My goodness. Sharing is communication. Communication is the source to the soul. The soul is yourself. The soul makes you walk and be strong.
Yes, my brother.
End of.
Beautiful. The power of that. This conversation right here carries so much power because, one, you have faced your truths.
Still haven't. I'm still trying to.
Okay. You're still going through processes of
that. I'm always going to be an addict.
Yes, of course. We're always...
if I slip up, then, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So you've had to come to the point where you've had to even admit that. Because there's been long processes during the time where you didn't want to actually even say those words.
Sure.
And I suppose even feeling that football's over at one point in your life was difficult for you too.
Sure.
Because I remember when accepting that I wasn't a professional boxer anymore. And watching my ratings go from the WBO, the IBF, the WBC, all of it, go from the top 10 or the top 20 in whatever governing body I was in, just go until I disappeared.
Sure.
So my significance was as a fighter.
Same.
your significance was as a footballer.
Going out on loan, going out on loan, going out on loan, going out on loan, not playing, not scoring, not scoring.
Wow.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Retire. Done. At that point, who am I? Let's just go take some drugs.
Yeah.
That's just the basis of it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I went through that period. I had an injury, took me out of the game because the consultant said to me, you're a world-class fighter. You can't fight again with this injury.
Sure.
You can't be doing 12 rounds with an injury like this. Right. This is extreme. All your ligaments are gone. He was explaining they're like elastic bands, you know, around the sides, all the front, the back. He said, the only one that's really intact on yours is at the back.
The hamstring.
Yeah. But the rest of them are gone. So if I stood up to go piss, I'd just be dropping over. That process is very painful. When you talk about injuries, I'm thinking about what I went through with my injury and the healing process of dealing with my injury is the most damaging part of my journey because you've got all that time. Now remember this, I've got a routine. I'm up at 5, 6, I'm hitting the roads, I'm doing my road work, I'm back. I've got to do groundwork, then I've got to have something to eat, then I have to rest. So I've got this routine, I'm back up again in a few hours, I'm down the gym.
And at the end of that, you've got to fight there.
Yeah, exactly. So we're always working towards goals.
But when you're injured, there's no fight at the end of it.
Thank you.
There's no fight at the end.
So imagine that, and then all you got is this voice in your ears that it's all over. So my significance is in boxing. Who am I? I've placed everything in there.
Yeah.
So I had to recognize and begin to realize, no, I'm me. Without boxing,
you had to succumb to it.
Yes, there's still me. You aren't boxing.
How long did that take
Marcus Ben ain't football.
How long did that take you?
It took a moment. Let me get this right. It took a moment, but the process took years.
Okay.
So the moment was when I realized, do you know what, bro? You're not boxing.
Right.
You're Mark Prince with a life. You've got much to give.
Sure.
Express yourself, give yourself, what do you want to do?
Right.
And that process has always got boxing in it. It's almost like I've got to go on through the weaning process that...
You can't filter that out. You still got to be
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's always like I go to fights or, you know, people talk to me about fighting or I might, you know, see a clip.
That's your strength. That's your strength.
That's exactly right. So what I done, I realized how can I use the passion that I love in boxing to still utilize that in my life moving forward.
Just said it.
And boom.
Just done and said it.
Yes.
Just done and said it.
You've done the same thing through football. Share that with me. How have you been able to use your passion and love for football? Because now you're watching it again.
Well, I was just about to say to you after what you were just saying.
Yeah.
I think once I got through again, I'm still not through it. I'm clean. And I'm glad I'm clean. I'm happy I'm clean. I'm present. I can get up every day. And don't get me wrong, I get anxiety now and then now. But I know how to manage it now. When I finished from football and went into the predicament or the journey that I went into with drugs, with drink, etc., I didn't see a way out. Now, what you're asking me is how people would say to me, you're not Marcus Bent, the footballer anymore. You're Marcus Bent going forward. So you need to make a new journey, a new life for yourself. I couldn't see the transition. I am Marcus Bent. That's all I've known. That's all I know.
That's right.
That's all I know. You put me out in the garden or put me out there, I'll school you in football with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's what I know. I've done it every day.
That's right.
It's what I do. But I lost the passion for it. That took me into drugs. Now, people say, so what are you going to do to go forward? Why don't you do commentating? Why don't you do training, mentoring kids? Yes, which I've done. I'm passionate about mentoring kids. I'm passionate about seeing people grow and giving back. Am I passionate about watching football and being a manager? No, not really. Not that I've lost my passion for that, but it's filtered and it's kind of erased out of my life. But what I am passionate about is talking about my journey to help people to get to where I have been, regardless whether you're rich, poor, wealthy. I want you to go through life, and it's not going to be easy.
Beautiful.
It won't be smooth.
Yeah.
But if you take out one little clip from my journey, your journey, his journey, even my boys sitting over there, you understand? Then you could go forward. But you got to be present, you got to be loyal, you got to be loving, and you got to know who you are. And knowing who you are.
Knowing who you are.
And knowing who you are is being present.
Beautiful, my brother. Hey, man, we have spent an awesome time together. You've been on a journey with Marcus, Nathan Bent, and Dr. Mark Prince. I hope you've taken the lessons along the journey and been able to incorporate it in the process. We've realized it's not the money, it's not the goal and the prize, it's the journey, it's the process. And we out. Thank you so much, Marcus Bent. You've been an awesome guest.